Hi, I'm Stephen Ewashkiw from Adventure Yoga, and this is about a 43-minute or so Hatha Yoga practice. This is an open level practice, and we're going to work on flexibility of your hamstrings today. We're going to start the class sitting on the ground. And because this is open level, I want to give you the option to sit on a chair instead if sitting on the ground isn't something that you're comfortable doing. So if you want to use a chair, grab a chair, and everybody unroll your mat, and I will meet you there in just a few seconds. Namaste. Please join me in a comfortable seat, either on your mat, or if that's not comfortable, sit on a chair and sit up tall. Today we're going to work on flexibility of your hamstrings in an open level Hatha Yoga practice. My actions are my only true belongings. That's a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a really brilliant Vietnamese Buddhist monk. My actions are my only true belongings. You really are what you do, not what you like or share on social media, but the actions that you take. And we're going to work on flexibility for your hamstrings today because hamstrings get tight in our daily life, which can lead to a tight back as well. Our daily life and our regular exercise often leads to tight hamstrings and a tight back. And we're going to work to open that up today so that you can stand up and take action in your life with more strength, more confidence, so that you can go out and take action in your world. So beyond your mat and out into your interactions with others. Because your actions are your only true belongings. Sit up tall. I need to give you a very quick, very basic anatomy lesson for today. Wiggle your hips. So if you're sitting on the ground, wiggle your hips on the ground. If you're on a chair, wiggle it onto the seat of the chair. There are two little bony nubs or bumps at the very bottom of your pelvis. That's where your hamstrings originate. Pretty cool. Your hamstrings, muscles on the upper backs of your legs. So they start there and they attach below your knee to the bones that make up your shin. The anatomy lesson, though, is these sit bones. So lift one side of your butt up, take two fingers, reach underneath, and feel for the sit bone. Push through the flesh of your butt, and it can help to then sit on your fingers and wiggle around. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. I can feel it. Pushes into my fingers. There's one on each side. You can find the other side if you like, or just trust me, or wiggle your hips a little more, and maybe you'll feel it. I'll talk to you more about your sit bones, but for now, that's what we're going to focus on as our point of reference for finding more length in our hamstrings. Don't worry about those for now. Look down at the ground or close your eyes and sit up tall. And take a few breaths to settle your mind, help you wash away your day, and be here, working on yourself, ready to take action. Take ownership in who you are. Bring your hands together in front of your heart in the prayer position, Anjali Mudra. Because this is an open level class, I am going to give you some options in class. Options like sitting on a chair or sitting on the ground. Sometimes the option will be to make the pose more accessible. And sometimes the option will be to take the pose further. The options are there for you, and they're a choice. Sit up tall. Take a few deeper breaths. Slowing your breath down will just help slow your mind down. Will relax your mind and help with that process of washing away your day. This is an action that you can take at any time in your day when you need a little more focus, a little more centering. Lower your hands to your lap. If your eyes are closed, open them and come into Balasana, or child's pose. So take your knees wide on your mat, place your feet flat, and sit back on your heels. If it's uncomfortable to sit on your heels, you can always place a blanket in the crease of your knees and sit on that. Stretch your arms forward and fold forward. If you can touch your forehead to the ground, touch your forehead to the ground. And welcome yourself to your practice here. Push down through your toes, push down through your hands, and then lift your shoulders, lift your hips, and come up to your hands and knees. Bring your knees a little closer together, so they're about hip distance apart, and then make your shins parallel to each other. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. All fours. Now, the very bottom of your pelvis, that place that you touched, that's where your sit bones live. So there's one on each side, and that's where your hamstrings originate. That's the anatomical term. It's where your hamstrings start, and then they go down below your knee. We're going to use the sit bones as a point of movement to help us find more movement in our hamstrings. So we're going to do that here in cat and cow. So think about where your sit bones is, and where your sit bones is, where your sit bones are, and move them down and forward. That's also the same as tuck your butt underneath you. Round your back and look to your belly. Push through your hands. Cat pose. And then move from your sit bones. Move the bottom of your butt back and lift it up so that your back arches. Look forward and arch your upper back for cow pose. And then move your sit bones down and underneath you. Move them forward, round your back. Look towards your belly, cat pose. And then arch your back. Move your sit bones back and up. Lift your chest up, cow pose. And do 2 more of those. Cat pose helps to stretch our spine, and cow pose helps to stretch our belly. And then come to neutral. Stretch your left arm out in front of you. Look forward, look up a little. Push down through your left leg and see what happens when you stretch your right leg back behind you. Balance gets a little more challenging. That's cool. And then bring your left elbow and right knee to touch, round your back. Do your best here. Doesn't have to be smooth and beautiful. Take your action. And then stretch out through your left arm and right leg. And then bend your elbow and right knee. Bring them in to touch. Stretch it out once more of these. Elbow and knee to touch. Then bring your left hand down, right knee down. Stretch your right arm out. Push down through your left hand and your right foot and stretch your left leg back. This whole thing is called Viagrasana. It means tiger pose. Bring your left knee, right elbow in underneath you. Bring them in to touch, round your back. And then stretch it out. Stretch your right arm forward, left leg back, look forward. And then draw it in again. Round your back, flex your belly, and then stretch it out. All you have to do is your best. Draw it in, touch, stretch it out. Bring your right hand down, left knee down. Lift your left leg. Let's do right leg. I changed my mind. Lift your right leg up behind you and then bend your knee. So turn the sole of your right foot up towards the ceiling. Lift your right knee a little bit higher. Work to center your shoulders over your wrists. Your tendency will be to lean over to the left here a lot. So work to center your body as best as possible. Then just open your right knee out to the side. So it's like you're lifting your right leg out to the side. I call this dog peeing pose. And then bring your right leg back to where it was. Knee lifted, right knee stretching back. And then lift your right knee up a little bit higher. Look forward. And then take your right knee out to the side, look down. And then stretch your right knee back, keep your knee bent. Lift it up, look up. Point your right toes, bring your right heel towards your butt. Lift your right knee higher, lift your chest higher, and bring your right knee down to the ground. Stretch your left leg back behind you. Bend your left knee. Turn the sole of your left foot up towards the ceiling. Stretch your left knee straight back. And then open your left knee out to the side. Tendency here again, it's to shift over to the right. So work to keep your shoulders as centered as you can. Lift your left knee. And then go back to the first position. Stretch your left knee back. Turn the sole of your left foot up towards the ceiling. Look forward. Bring your left knee out to the side. And then go back to that first position. Left knee straight back, sole of your foot up. Lift your left knee a little higher, look forward. And then point your toes. Bring your left heel towards your butt and lift your left knee up. This is to wake up your hamstrings, to stretch the front of your leg, to stretch your quads. Bring your left knee down to the ground. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up, lift your knees up, and push your hips back. Bend your left knee and straighten your right leg. Push your hands down and forward and move your chest back as you lift up through your sit bones. So lift up through the very bottom of your pelvis. Keep your left knee bent. Stretch your right heel back and down. Doesn't have to come to the ground, just stretch it back and down. And then bring your ears in line with your shoulders, in line with your upper arms, and stretch. Lift through your sit bones, so you're working to stick your butt up to the sky. It's not just lift it up, but there's a little action there of lifting your sit bones, or the very bottom of your butt up. And that should make you feel a little more in your right hamstring. That's the action we're looking for. Bend your right knee and straighten your left leg out. Same work. Push through your hands. Bring your ears in line with your upper arms. Stretch your left heel back and down. If it comes to the ground, cool. If it doesn't, cool. We're all at different places in our practice. And then think about your sit bones, specifically your left sit bone. Lift up through there. So you're tipping your pelvis up towards the ceiling. That will make you feel more in your left leg. That's what that action does. That's ownership of your hamstrings. Nice. Bend to both knees. So now bend your left knee and walk your hands back to your feet. Come to a forward fold at the back of your mat. Place your feet flat, have your feet about hip distance apart, and fold over your legs. Touch the ground. So if you can't touch the ground with your legs straight, that's not a problem. Just bend your knees. I want you to actually touch the ground. That's better for hamstring flexibility than having your hands off the ground. So it's hands on the ground. I'm on my fingertips. You can be on your fingertips or hands flat, whichever you choose. If you can touch the ground with straight legs, do. But if you need to bend your knees, do that. Whatever version of Uttanasana or forward fold you're in, think about your sit bones. You can even take one hand back and find them on your butt. Oh yeah, there they are. Lift through there. If your knees are bent, keep your knees bent, but find more lift in the very bottom of your butt up towards the ceiling so that you feel more in your hamstrings. And then walk your hands forward. Come back to downward facing dog. You can do this with both knees bent or both legs straight. That's your choice, however you're feeling today. Bring your ears in line with your upper arms. That's to help you find the nice
arch in your neck, which is going to help you find that arch in your lower back. Lift through your sit bones so you feel more in your hamstrings. So your quads, the fronts of your upper legs, have to work a little more. And then bend your knees, look forward, and walk forward. Come back to the forward fold, this time at the top of your mat. Uttanasana is the Sanskrit. It means intense stretch pose. So let's make it a little intense. Touch the ground, bend your knees as much as you need to. Push your hands down. Push your hands forward a little so you can move your chest back towards your thighs. And then wherever you are with your legs, bent or straight, lift through the very bottom of your pelvis. It won't be a big action, but it's enough to help you get a little more stretch for your hamstrings. Place your right hand on your waist. Place your left hand on your waist. And stand up. Push through your feet to help you rise up. And stretch your arms down at your sides. Look forward. Tadasana. You can stay where you are. I'm going to turn to face the camera just so you have a little better view of what's happening next. Bring your feet together. And stretch your arms up overhead. Take your right hand and hold your left wrist. So turn your right thumb forward, grab your left wrist with your right hand, and stretch it up long and side bend to the right. Sometimes called crescent pose. It's also called Indudalasana. Or standing thigh stretch, side stretch. Standing side stretch. Standing thigh stretch is coming next. This is a little foreshadowing. Squeeze your legs together, and then come up to center. Hold your right wrist with your left hand, stretch up, and then side bend to the left. So our work on our hamstring is really important work for our spine as well. So that's why we're doing a little bit of spinal work here, is because as we get more and more into creating more flexion, more extension, more flexibility, that's what I was looking for, in our hamstrings, we're going to find more opening for our spine as well. Come up to center. And bring your arms down to your sides. Separate your feet a little bit. Now, I've got a wall here, which is really helpful for balance in the next pose. So if balance is tough for you, it's not a problem, just touch the wall. Bend your left knee and grab your left foot. Pull your heel towards your outer hip, and then bring your knees in line with each other. So look down. Instead of having your left knee going forward, stretch straight down. As much as your actions are your only belongings, your body is going to want to take a less intense action. Our bodies are kind of lazy. So we need to ask them to take action that's going to be beneficial. And that is knee straight down. And then you're going to start to feel it more in your quads, in the front of your left leg. So if you're not touching the wall, you can always bring your right hand to your hip. Bring your left heel towards your outer left hip. And then keep your knee stretching straight down. Push the very front of your left hip forward. So tighten up your left butt and push your hip forward so you start to feel stretch in your quads. When you've got enough stretch, you can stay there and work that. If you need a little bit more, spread your toes on your left foot and kick it back into your hand. So push back with your left foot, and then with your left hand, pull your left heel more towards your outer left hip. There's a spot in there for everybody to get enough thigh stretch. Losing my balance a little, but that's what the wall's for. And then release your left foot and carefully bring your foot down to the ground. If you're using the wall for support, just turn around so that it's now on the other side. Bend your right knee and grab the top of your right foot. And then, same work. See how my knee is just naturally, it comes forward? That's because it's less tight in my quads that way. But we want that tightness in the quads because that's stretch. So line your knees up with each other. Pull your right heel in. If you don't need the wall, you don't have to use the wall. Push the very front of your right hip forward a little.
Tighten up your right butt to help push it forward. Extend the front of your hip so that you can feel your right quads more. And if you still need a little bit more, spread your toes on your right foot, kick back with your right foot, and pull with your right hand. Everybody keep your knees in line and keep pushing your right hip forward. Thigh stretch. And then release your leg, bring your foot down to the ground. Turn and face the long edge of your mat. And step your feet wide. How wide? Pretty wide. A more specific width is ankles as wide as your wrists. And then bring your hands onto your waists. Make your feet parallel to each other. Bend your knees a little bit. Flex at your hip. Stick your butt back and fold forward. Place your hands on the ground. Have your wrists underneath your shoulders. We'll start there. And then straighten your arms, lift your chest, and straighten your legs as best as you can here. Squeeze your legs towards each other, not so that they move, so that your legs get more active. And then bend your elbows, flex at your hips, and fold forward a little bit more. If placing your hands flat is available to you here, place your hands flat. Your elbows are part of that process of, oh, I'll do the easier thing. So your elbows are probably kind of hanging out and drifting out to the sides. Hug them in a little so that they're in line with your shoulders and your wrists. And bend your knees. Bend your knees, I don't know, some. It's not a very specific amount. Bend your knees until your hamstrings feel like they're releasing a little bit. And then think about your sit bones. The very bottom of your pelvis, lift that up, like you're trying to slide your butt up the wall. And then that'll help you fold forward more. Push down and forward gently with your hands. Keep hugging your elbows in and lift through your sit bones. Then squeeze your legs in towards each other and straighten your legs as best as you can. Keep pushing down through your feet. Keep squeezing your inner thighs towards each other and keep lifting through your sit bones. This wide leg forward fold is called Prasarita Padottanasana, generally called wide leg forward fold though. Your back will round here for almost all of us. That's just natural. Work to find a little more length for your spine though. So lift through your sit bones. That's actually going to help you get more length for your spine. And stretch your head down towards the ground. And then look at your feet. Take an estimate of how far apart they are and walk your feet in towards each other about a third of the way. So heel toe your feet in a couple of times. So it's still a pretty wide stance. It's not in the forward fold of Uttanasana, but it's also not as wide as they were. And then we'll do the same thing. Bend your knees, move your chest back, lift up through your sit bones, and fold a little more deeply over your legs. Push through your feet, squeeze your legs in, and straighten them as best as you can here. I know you're in a forward fold, so you probably aren't watching me. That's cool. I'll just let you know what's going on. My legs are shaking because this is fun work. It's intense work. Learning to take action in your own practice, your body gives you a response. Enjoy the response. Lift through your sit bones so you're finding more length for your hamstrings, and then stretch your spine long. And breathe. And then heel toe your feet in a little bit closer. So it's like as wide as your hips. You might need to move your hands out of the way. Bend your knees. Push down and forward with your hands so you can move your chest back. Lift through your sit bones and squeeze your legs in towards each other until they're straight or as close as you can get to straight. Keep lifting through your sit bones. Engage your quads to straighten your legs and stretch long through your spine. Bring your right hand onto your waist, bend your knees a little, bring your left hand onto your waist, and stand up. And then stand and face the top of your mat. Stand at the top of your mat. Tadasana with your feet hip distance apart. Stretch your arms up overhead. And then bend your knees, fold forward, and touch the ground. Step your left leg back, step it straight back, and come into a lunge, Balasana. Stretch your right knee forward over your ankle, and look forward. Bring your left knee down to the ground. Push down through your feet, push down through your left knee, and bring your torso up, bring your hands in front of your heart. Stay here, or stretch your arms up and overhead. If your left knee hurts, you can always take your mat and flip it over and double it up. That'll make it a little more comfortable. So it's hands in front of your heart, or stretch your arms up. If you want to take your pose a little bit further today, you can always push through your left toes and bring your left knee off the ground. It's your choice. Just like we did earlier, hold your left wrist with your right hand. Stretch up long and side bend to the right. Stretch through your whole left side. Come back up to center. Bring your hands down to the ground. Lift your left knee off the ground if it's on the ground, and then step your left leg forward. That can take a few steps to get there, no problem. Once you get there, step your right leg straight back. Shift your left knee forward so it's over your left ankle, and look forward, lunge, also called Balasana. And then bring your right knee down to the ground. Push down through your feet and your right knee. Push through your fingertips so that you can lift up in your torso and bring your hands to your heart. You can stay here or stretch your arms up overhead. And you can stay here or for a slight more expression of the pose, slight more, English is hard, bring your right knee off the ground. And if your arms are overhead, hold your right wrist with your left hand, stretch up, and side bend. You can do this with your knee up or knee down. And if your hands are in front of your heart, you can just do the side bend here with your hands in front of your heart, no problem. Same work. Stretch your right side. Come back up to center. Bring your hands down to the ground. Lift your right knee off the ground. Look forward. And step your right foot forward. You can take as many steps as you need, 1 step or 5 steps or whatever. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Step your left leg back. Now we're going to go into Warrior 2. So spin your left heel down. So turn your left heel in and down. Stretch your right knee forward. Bring your right hand onto your right leg. Push down through your feet. Lift your torso up. Stretch your left arm back. Stretch your right arm forward. Work to have your right knee point straight ahead and push through your left foot. Think about your sit bones here and tuck them underneath you a little so that you get more opening in the fronts of your legs. And then straighten your right leg. We're going to change sides by turning towards the back. Turn your right heel out, right toes in. Turn your left heel in, left toes out. And then open your hips up towards the long edge of your mat and bend into your left knee. Point your left knee straight ahead. Tuck your sit bones underneath you so that you open the fronts of your hips a little bit more. And look forward. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Straighten your front leg. Turn your heel out, toes in. Then go back to the first side. Turn your right toes out, right heel in. But we're not doing a Warrior 2. Now bend your right knee a little. Step your left foot forward, some, about the length of one of your feet. And turn your toes in. And then so your left toes are turning forward, place your left foot flat.
turn to face the front of your mat and face your right leg. Straighten your right leg. Bring your hands onto your waist and turn your hips so that your pelvis is facing forward. Stretch up through your spine, and then start to fold forward. Think about your sit bones, move them back and lift them up. And that's going to take you into the forward fold. Just come down about halfway. And then take your hands and hold your right leg. Pull up on your leg with your hands, and then stretch your spine longer. Especially your right sit bone. Focus there and take action. Move it back and lift it up so that you can feel your right hamstrings more. And if you want to take this further, you can bring your hands down to the ground on either side of your right foot. And if you want to take that further even more, you can fold forward over your right leg. These are all versions of a pose called Uttanasana, or pyramid pose, it's usually called in English. Lift up through your sit bones. That's to help you shift forward with your chest and feel your hamstrings more. If your hands are on the ground, bring them up onto your right leg, and everybody pull up on your leg. Lift your chest, bend your right knee, and stand up. Bring your hands onto your waist. And then this can be fun. You're going to turn on your heels all the way to the back. So turn on your heels. Sound effects help. So now your left foot is facing the back of your mat. Have your right foot turning forward at an angle and have both feet flat on the ground. And then hands to your waist, turn, face what's now the back of your mat, and work to turn your pelvis so it's facing the back of your mat as evenly as you can. Think about your sit bones, very bottom of their butt, and then move that back and lift it up to help tip you forward and start to come into the forward fold. Take your hands and hold your left leg and pull up on your left leg and stretch long through your spine. Even just a little bit more stretching out of your spine is going to get you more hamstring flexibility here. And if you want even more, lift up through your left sit bone, move it back and up. Such a subtle action, but man, can I feel it. And if you want a further expression of the pose, you can bring your hands to the ground on either side of your left foot. And again, if you want to take it even further, you can fold forward over your left leg. Intense side stretch is what this pose translates as, Uttanasana. Its English name, though, is usually pyramid pose. Whichever version you're doing, move your left sit bone back and up. Keep feeling it in your hamstrings. If your hands are on the ground, hold on to your left leg now. If you're holding your left leg, straighten your arms, so push into your leg, pull up with your hands. Lift your torso, bend your left knee a little, and stand up. And then make your feet parallel to each other, facing the long edge of your mat, and step your feet together. And sit down. Stretch your legs out in front of you, but bend your knees. Take your hands under your butt and pull your butt back. That might be something that you've had teachers ask you to do in class before. One of the things we're working to do is move your sit bones back. They might not talk about that, but that is one of the things. We're working to get those attachment points for your hamstrings. It's actually where your hamstrings originate. So to just move back a little so you can find a little more tilt in your pelvis, find a little more flexibility in your spine. It's all connected. Lean forward and grab your feet. For this variation, hold the outside of your feet. So just bend your knees as much as you need to so that you can grab your feet. Pull on your feet and push down with your hands. Bring your chest to touch your thighs. And then lengthen through your spine. Rather than letting it round, take action. Take ownership of what you do in class. It's practice for taking ownership of what you do in life. This is a modification of a pose called Hashimoto Stretch, or seated forward fold. Sounds so simple in English, so complicated in Sanskrit. I want you to keep your chest and your thighs touching, but move your feet away from you a little bit more. So you're in charge with how much you move them away, but don't go all the way to straight if that's part of your practice. So keep your chest and thighs touching though. That's what's really important here. Push down through your hands, pull back with your hands, work to stick your sit bones back behind you a little and lengthen through your spine. Then we'll do one more stage of this. Slide your feet away a little bit more, but only so much that you can keep your ribs and your thighs touching. If you can do that with legs straight here, then you can go to legs straight here. But legs straight isn't some magical place. What I want from you is more hamstring flexibility, and that's going to happen by working to the place that's appropriate for you. Ribs to thighs, legs as straight as you can with that. Push down and pull back with your hands. Think about your sit bones. Stick them back behind you a little bit, and that's going to help you fold over your legs more. It's going to help you stretch long through your spine more. This is today's Hashimoto. Stretch the top of your head towards your feet. Push down and pull back with your hands. And move your sit bones back behind you. Lift up through your chest. Let go of your legs. Walk your hands back beside your hips. And sit up tall. And then shift your hips forward a little. Lie down on your back. Place your feet on the ground about hip distance apart. And then reach your arms down at your sides towards your feet. Bring your heels close enough to your hips so that you can just touch your heels with your fingertips. Then bend your elbows. Push your shoulders and upper arms down, push your feet down, and lift your butt up. Now shorten your hamstrings. So the opposite of stretching them. Move your sit bones forward and up, also known as tuck your butt. Keep that, lift your hips a little bit higher. So now we're working to open up at the front of your hips. We've done a lot of hip flexion today, because that's part and parcel of hamstring extension often. Underneath you, interlace your hands, and then walk your shoulders in a little. Turn your upper arms out, push your arms down, push your feet down, really tuck your butt underneath you so you can lift your hips high. Bridge pose, or Bandha Sarvangasana. Release your hands and lower your hips down to the ground. So that you can sit up, turn to one side and sit up. And then stretch your left leg out, bend your right leg. Bring your heel in towards your hips, but it doesn't have to come to your hips. Take your right hand back behind you and lean back a little. Stretch your left arm up. It's a little casual pose. Then we're going to turn it into a twist. Twist to the right, touch your left arm outside your right leg. But before you twist anymore, push through your left arm, push through your right hand and stretch long through your spine.
And then just do a gentle twist. Just a little cleansing refresher for your spine. And then untwist. Doesn't need much right now. Straighten your right leg, bend your left leg. Your heel doesn't have to come into your hip. There's no bonus points for that. In fact, I don't do that in this pose. Take your left arm back behind you. Lean back a little casual like. Stretch your right arm up. Oh, hi there. How's it going? And then stretch up through your spine. Twist to the left a little. Touch your right arm outside your left leg. Push down through your left hand and your right arm and lengthen through your spine more. And then just do a gentle twist. I love these Hatha classes because your actions are your only belongings. And I like to help you learn how to take your actions very consciously and intentionally. Untwist, come back to center, bend both knees and place your feet flat on the ground. Take your hands back behind you, and you can turn your hands out to the side. That's if you think that you've got tight shoulders, or if you do have tight shoulders. Or point your fingers forward. That's for a little more shoulder opening. Push your hands down, feet down, lift your butt up. Butt up. Lift your chest up and out of your shoulders and look straight up. Lift your hips a little higher, stretch across the front of your body. Your knees won't really move, but stretch your knees forward, lift your breastbone up, look up, and then come down. One more pose. Stretch it out. Stretch your legs out, lie down on your back, stretch your arms up and overhead, and stretch through your fingers and through your toes. So point your toes, stretch out through your fingers, and stretch long through your body. Arch your lower back a little bit, and then relax. Bring your arms down at your sides. Separate your feet a little bit. Separate your legs a little bit. Turn your feet out, turn your legs out. Turn your palms up at your sides. And close your eyes. Shavasana, our final resting pose. We'll stay here for just about 90 seconds, so not that long. Rest. Rest your legs. And rest your spine. Relax your eyes. And work to relax your breathing. Relax your hands and your feet. The only action you need to take in Shavasana is no action. This pose belongs to you. Rest in it. If you would like to stay in Shavasana longer, just reach over and hit pause. Deepen your breath. Take a few longer, fuller breaths. Move your toes. Move your ankles a little, swing them back and forth. Move your fingers. Move your wrists in and out. Stretch through your arms. You can stretch them down towards your feet, or up towards the ceiling, or
up and overhead if space allows. And then bend your knees and turn onto your side. And press yourself up to seated. Come to a comfortable seated position on the floor or on a chair. Look down at the ground or close your eyes. Bring your hands back into Anjali Mudra, prayer position. My actions are my only belongings. What actions will you take today? What actions will you take tomorrow to make the world a better place for your family, for your friends? Take action. Take hope. Thanks for practicing. Namaste. Thanks for joining me for this practice. I hope it's helped you find more length in your hamstrings and more flexibility in your forward folds, but also in your spine, so that you can hold yourself up and stand up in yourself so that you can take action. What action are you going to take? I'm really excited for your day today, and I'm really excited for my day now. Thanks for helping me do this practice for myself, and I hope that it's made you feel like you can take on the world today. If you'd like to slow it down a little before you get on with your day, this is a meditation practice of mine that I can guide you through if you'd like to do a meditation. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, what are you waiting for? Just click on my picture over there, subscribe, done, like nobody's business or something. Anyway, thanks OMies, have a great day, and I hope to see you on the mat really soon.